A lot of news out of Elon's X posts this weekend about Tesla, as well as potentially an XAI involved investment from Tesla. But we've got to talk about this because it's potentially critical to Tesla stock. Elon Musk saying just left Tesla design studio. Most epic demo ever by end of year. And then reiterating ever. Now, this is interesting because, first, we've somewhat got a high bar, in my opinion. I actually think the Cybercab demonstration day was pretty epic, mostly because we had the Robovan, which was a very cool sort of concept vehicle that was probably remote controlled but looked amazing. We had the Optimus demonstration that really showed us the components of Optimus robots at least being capable of being teleoperated and moving very, very smoothly or programmed to dance very well, which still creates questions around how long can these Optimus robots actually function on relatively small battery packs that would end up fitting into a humanoid robot. What kind of weights can these Optimus robots actually carry over time that would not overheat the joints or the servo motors inside the various different components of the Optimus robot? These are all questions that obviously we still have. But Elon is essentially saying we're going to top the work or demonstration that we've done previously with Tesla. And so there are rumors around what it could potentially be. For example, here are with 23,000 votes, which is quite a bit for a poll here in the comments section. What is it? I really wish there were more options given here. 38.5% of people think it's a next-gen Roadster, which has been promised for 7-8 years now. An Optimus version 3 or something else. I'll give you my opinion as to really what it should be and what would be a game changer for Tesla. And then, of course, we'll talk about that XAI investment idea and sort of my take on that. So first, I actually don't think it makes a difference if we do any kind of Optimus demonstration, frankly, because this is Elon leaving the design studio, and I don't think an upgraded version of Optimus matters design-wise. I think upgraded versions of Optimus need better battery technology or better sort of motor technology in terms of the weights that these robots can actually carry multiple times for hours and hours long in their work. I don't think that's so much when I think design, I think visually. I don't think it's so much of a visual aspect that we really care about with Optimus right now. So I don't think that Elon saw something in the design studio that he's excited about. The Tesla Roadster, maybe, but this would actually be probably the worst case scenario for Tesla. While it would be fantastic for enthusiasts, myself included, who would almost certainly line up to throw money, whatever the price, at a Tesla Roadster, especially some convertible version of it, which would be amazing, I don't think this is the mass market game changer that Tesla really needs. So I voted for, as you can see, checkmark, something else. And that's because even though that has the lowest probability on this Sawyer poll here, I actually believe it is the most critical for Tesla. That design studio actually provides us a new vehicle of some type. Now, maybe it's the production version of the Cybercab that you could potentially buy. Let's write down some of these ideas and think about the value that these could create. So, production version of Cybercab that includes the newer FSD technology and the upgraded camera suites or hardware suites that the robotaxis have. This would be great. Some form of production version of this, or potentially even consumer purchasable version. That would be great. Some form of other new mass market vehicle. This would probably be the most critical, mostly because, mind you, we've talked about this before, losing the ZEV credits, zero emission vehicle credits, along with the incentive, which ZEV credits have already been lost. The $7,500 vehicle incentive expires on September 30th. And then, of course, purchasing solar panels versus leasing or power purchase agreements. Purchased solar panels lose some of their benefits by the end of the year, which is a hurt to Tesla because Tesla doesn't do PPAs or leases. They used to do leases. They don't anymore. And they just sell them. Who knows? Maybe they'll bring back leases. But the point is, Tesla's got multiple negative caddies that we're going to have to deal with in terms of actually hurting, demand forces, right? When you remove tax credits, you hurt demand forces. But then you also potentially hurt margin forces in specifically ZEV credits. But then also, if we have to lower prices because the $7,500 vehicle tax credits go away, now we really need a higher margin, maybe mass market vehicle. To me, this would be the most critical element for Tesla because yes, while the goal of Elon is, hey, this is a bet on autonomy, I really think you have a potential mass market here that is willing to eat up even some form of other $30,000 car. I don't know what we're going to call it, or a Mercedes style, like Sprinter van style car that maybe has that's inexpensive, no frills, but it has more space than any other car before. This to me would be interesting if you could create something that was, a no frills version of the Mercedes Sprinter van. Oh, you want 9 seats? Perfect. You want cargo space? Perfect. And one of the things that I think is so critical about these sort of the Sprinter van idea is, even though it's not really Model 2-esque, that's an option as well. I don't know that people are convinced that they're going to be willing to buy 2-door vehicles in the United States. I think 4 doors probably minimum in the United States. But what's fascinating about, if you ended up with some form of no frills van for Tesla, you really unlock the construction environment as a potential buyer, which in the world of AI, you have more people talking about trades anyway, and trades potentially being more resilient to artificial intelligence, potentially great market. So my take here is the most critical would be either a Sprinter van style, like no frills version, or, again, some form of Model 2. That would be critical in terms of a design. The next best case scenario could be a production version of the Cybercab or some kind of consumer purchasable vehicle. Mostly, why? So they can do what they do best: manufacture and mass, and with scale. And you get it. I don't have to write it all down. That's my opinion on the design studio. Now, who knows? We'll have an epic demo. Who knows? Maybe they'll create like a December demo or whatever. It's also pretty common for Elon to sort of dangle the carrot of like some really new, exciting news or whatever coming in the future. And typically it does well for the stock leading into the events. The events are almost always buy the rumor, sell the news. But that's okay because, there just ends up being a new rumor afterwards. So that's just sort of the game that we play. In fairness, this robotaxi launch in Austin, so far, it's been super, super quiet, which is actually perfect. That is exactly what you want if you are a Tesla investor. You do not want Tesla robotaxis in the news every day because if they're in the news every day, it's bad. So the fact that we are not hearing of Tesla robotaxis on a daily basis, and they're slowly expanding the area in which we're providing robotaxi service, great. As I wrote here, a big peepee. Very nice. Very, very nice. So you're getting this expanded service, which is great. Now, there's also this talk here, SpaceX to invest $2 billion into XAI, which, this has then also led to rumoring that maybe Tesla should also invest into XAI. And that, the latest discussion has been that no, Tesla would not end up taking over XAI. There wouldn't be any kind of merger, but maybe Tesla would invest into XAI. To me, I don't know that broadly this really matters because Tesla does have a good chunk of free cash. We could calculate that quickly. I want to say it's somewhere around $10 billion of free cash. So even if they invested $2 or $3 billion, it doesn't really matter. I think it's a great way for Elon to raise capital easily. I don't know that it makes much of a difference for the stock, although it does give shareholders the opportunity to gain exposure to XAI, and it kind of gives retail investors exposure to XAI via a public vehicle, which is interesting. I know that XAI is a cash-burning, company, so it makes sense that they need the extra cash. We've got about 36.9. Let's just call it $37 billion of cash and short-term investments. And if I take off current liabilities of less worried about this. Take off about, call it 26.6. It gives me about $10.5 billion of free cash, right? Because we need money to pay our bills. People always, when they talk cash balances, they forget that companies also have bills to pay. And free cash flow might fall without the ZEV credit. See, if we go to free cash flow on a 3-month basis here, we only have free cash flow of 500 million, call it about 600 million bucks of free cash flow. But ZEV credits were, I think, all of that. It's not listed on this. We have to go to the financial statement for this, but it's somewhere between $400 to $600 million. So most of the free cash flow now is coming from ZEV credits, which means, yeah, we've got about 10.5 billion available of free cash. I personally think it'd be so nice to see that, Giga Mexico. It's obvious that we're not going to do that now under this, tariff drama that we're dealing with, which I think long term is problematic for corporate EPS across the board and across the United States. Something probably unpriced in markets right now since we're so convinced that, taco is here to stay, basically. We'll see. Really topic for a different video. But if you've got about $10.5 billion of free cash, again, I personally think it'd be wonderful if we had a product that we could mass manufacture and expand. But we're not in that sort of environment. We're not going to do a Giga Mexico. Maybe we could do a solar facility in the United States, but again, even if you have homegrown solar, are you really going to be competitive against China in this environment? I don't think so. I don't think that's the perfect growth trajectory for Tesla. I personally think a mass market vehicle that people could get excited about here would be the way to play it. The problem that you really have with Tesla is you're not creating something new and juicy and exciting for people to buy. The Cybertruck was great, but it was very niche. The benefit that Tesla has, remember a big benefit Tesla has, China isn't here. China is such a competitor when it comes to introducing new models of vehicles and providing so much choice for people at a low or inexpensive price as they control so much of the battery manufacturing globally. One of Tesla's greatest benefits is that they are American and that tariffs are protectionary. So, wow, that's crazy typing there. Are protectionary. Who do tariffs protect? Tariffs protect U.S. manufacturers. What is Tesla? U.S. manufacturer. So the more you hear of tariffs, the more you should think protectionism. And it protects companies like Tesla. So companies like Tesla can benefit substantially if they provide new designs and new products to excite American consumers and get away from this reputation of, just being this person who's going to wave the chainsaw around in politics and cut people's government jobs. The more we move away from that and we move into a focus on providing great quality products again, the more I think Tesla can win bigly. So I'm excited. Hopefully, honestly, maybe we even get both. Who says it has to be one new vehicle? How about a lineup of 2 or 3 new vehicles? That to me is exciting. Although knowing Elon, it's probably more likely to be this. Something about Cybercab, maybe a consumer purchasable fleet version. Hey, you want to launch Cybercabs in California? Go buy 10 Cybercabs and we'll help you, and then you deal with the liability of it and cleaning them or whatever. Wouldn't surprise me, and I think that kind of stuff would also go viral amongst passive income with my robo-taxi. Yo, check out my passive income business with robo-taxis. And people around the United States are scaling it out as opposed to Tesla having to scale it out themselves. Some thoughts? Again, XAI investment, doesn't really matter one way or another. I don't think it's really a needle mover for Tesla's valuation, and if anything, it's just an easier way for Elon to raise money for XAI without having to take on expensive debt. And I kind of think that's why SpaceX is investing in XAI as well, because again, it's easy to just sell one of your other cash-rich company shares and then not have to pay the higher interest rates to some of these other companies. But anyway, talking about AI, we've got a big AI announcement coming with HouseHack, which I'm really excited about. So stay tuned for that. Probably Saturday, between now and Saturday for that. So that'll be really exciting. Remember, you can always invest into HouseHack. It's open to non-accredited investors for now. That might change soon. But check that out at househack.com. read the offering circulars and prospectuses to understand your risks in investing. But do check it out. Offers a 5% yield paid on a monthly basis, plus all of the upside in the company stock, which is exciting. We actually think if we really go double down on our AI trajectory, that we're woefully undervalued as just a real estate company, and that's what we're selling. We're raising money in now, which is kind of exciting. So anyway, stay tuned for that.
Why not advertise these things that you told us here? I feel like nobody else knows about this.
We'll try a little advertising and see how it goes.
Congratulations, man. You have done so much. People love you. People look up to you.
Kevin Paffrath there, financial analyst and YouTuber. Meet Kevin. Always great to get your take.